Hi everyone. This video is inspired by some current events, mainly the ones taking place in Ukraine and the conflict there. And it made me think about the Cold War, or the escalation of the Cold War in the 1980s, and the arms race that was taking place between America and the Soviet Union. So I dug around my record collection and picked out a couple of albums that contain songs that were really memorable during that time. And the first one I wanted to highlight is NENA. That's a German band. You can see there. This LP was released in 1983. It's all in German. And they did a song called 99 Luftballon, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. Sorry to those who are fluent speakers of German. Anyhow, it's 99 red balloons. It's basically a song about the dreams of young German people after World War II. And this song was written by two band members of NENA. And one of the band members apparently was attending a Rolling Stones concert in West Berlin. And it was during this concert that they released a bunch of balloons. And it ran across this person's mind that he wondered whether or not any of these balloons would actually drift over to East Germany, and whether or not that might actually spark a major incident, because he was thinking, you know, what's going to happen if the people in East Germany is going to think these balloons that are flying over are unidentified threatening objects, and he was just so worried that that might spark a major incident or war. So that was the inspiration behind that song. And so that song, what happened was, it was pretty big deal in Germany, and in America the story goes that when the single was released, a DJ in America accidentally played the German version and it just spread like wildfire. It was a big hit, even though most Americans didn't understand what was being sung. So the video, the music video that was shown on MTV, it was basically showing all these red balloons being set adrift, and the video was actually filmed in a Dutch military training camp. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and it was when they were filming that actual drills were taking place, and there's a scene at the end, near the end of the video, where they're actually running away terrified, and that's because the band members, the NENA band, actually felt they were getting a bit too close to friendly fire there, and they were actually running for their lives. Apparently that's what happened. So this kind of interesting footnote there, you know, that they were quite unhappy with the English version. The band felt that there was something lost in translation when they translated into English, because the whole meaning was different, words were different, and as we all know, the English language, you know, there's a lot of nuances, so as well as the German language. But no, this one is the first one that I thought of when I was thinking about the Cold War in the 1980s and the arms race, and you know, this was such a big deal, this song. So NENA, there you go. The second album I want to talk about is Men at Work. It's Cargo album. So this was released in 1983 as well. And there's a song on here called It's a Mistake. And again, that's all about the potential conflict between the Americans and the Russians. So it's quite nice. It comes with a little inner sleeve there. And I always love it when the inner sleeve comes with the lyrics of a song. So in the song, Men at Work, they actually make a reference. There's a line in the song, and it says, "They've gone and grabbed old Ronnie." So that's a reference to Ronald Reagan, who at that time was the American president of the United States. So here's one. It's a fantastic album released in 1984 by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And the song is Two Tribes. This is a double LP, a wonderful, wonderful inner sleeves. What I think is so fantastic about this song is that the band actually released a lot of versions of it on a 12-inch single, and that helped their sales and gave them a major boost. But not only that, I've just got to show you, I actually have the 12-inch. This is one of many versions of Two Tribes. So can you see how wonderful this cover is? I actually have this LP back in the day in my original record collection, which got lost when I moved overseas. So I managed to get another copy. It's a really nice copy. And I'm ashamed to say, at that time when I had it, an original, I never really bothered reading the information, the liner notes or anything like that. I was just excited about playing the music and making a mixtape. So this back cover, it's fascinating because it actually quotes a German, I think, intelligence officer, and he gives the assessment that if the Americans ever attack, the best time to attack the Russians or the Soviet Union, based on the Germans' experience during World War II, was that New Year's Eve would be the best time because the Russians would be drunk. But then he then goes on to say, but then again, you know, you can attack any time because the Russians are always drunk. So that was just quite funny there, and it says there. And then it's interesting that it actually has a rundown of how many missiles the Americans had versus the Russians when this vinyl came out in 1984. And it goes on to show some information about if the arms race, the nuclear arms race, escalated, how many missiles would be stationed or based at in certain European countries versus, you know, how many missiles would be based in Russia. So this is just fantastic, you know, to have all that information. So you're not just getting the music, you're not just getting an anti-war song, but you're also getting information about the situation at the time. And people were worried. And this photograph shows Maggie Thatcher, British Prime Minister, with Ronald Reagan, American President. So they were good friends, chums. They got along very well. And now this is what I absolutely love about the 12-inch single. You've got the label, and there's a picture of Lenin. And then on the other side, there's our friend Ronnie. So I think it's pretty cool. All these little nice details and touches really make the 12-inch single of this song really fantastic. So in 1985, you had Sting's debut solo album in 1985. So he was still with the Police, but this was his first foray doing his own thing. And it's The Dream of the Blue Turtles. So this LP was actually titled as such based on an actual dream he had when he went to the Bahamas to record this debut album. So the song here is called Russians. So at the time when this song came out, he got a lot of not shtick. People felt that based on the lyrics that he was very empathetic towards the Soviet Union, and he's had to defend himself, saying that it's actually not really pro-Russian or pro-Soviet Union. It's actually pro-children. And he actually wanted to sing it in Russian, apparently, and he was hoping that a Russian orchestra could perform with him that song in Russian. But you know, in the 1980s, it was pretty difficult to get into Russia, so that put paid to that. It's interesting to say, because of the escalating situation in Ukraine, earlier this year in March, Sting actually did a reboot of the song Russians, and all the profits for this song is going to a humanitarian charity to help those in need in Ukraine. In 1987, The Sisters of Mercy came out with their LP called Floodland. So here's the inner sleeve. It's very simple, just black, like that. But anyhow, so the song on here that is anti-war is called Dominion, and that's the UK title of the song. In America, it was called Mother Russia. So on the LP, the song is listed as Dominion/Mother Russia. So it's really a fantastic song. It also includes the lyric sheet, which is fantastic. So with Floodland, the Sisters of Mercy, it's really important to remember what happened the year before in 1986. So that was the year the Chernobyl disaster unfolded, and you had the fallout. It affected all of Europe and even beyond. So this song, Dominion, Mother Russia, there are references to Russia raining down. That's a reference to Chernobyl, the fallout of the radiation. So this was a very timely song, timely LP. The video that was shown on MTV, it was actually filmed in Petra, Jordan, out in the desert. And apparently Steven Spielberg clocked this video and he watched it, and it inspired him to scout locations for his Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade movie that was released in 1989. So that's kind of like a cool footnote there. And I'm surprised that if you Google anti-war songs, 1980s, Cold War, arms race, this song doesn't show up, and it's called Soviet Snow by Shona LAING. She's a New Zealand singer, and in 1987 she released her album called South. And it's a fantastic album. I actually have the CD. I've never got around to buying the LP. The song Soviet Snow, the lyrics are really amazing. The song has a great beat to it. It's very catchy. It's got a great hook. And the video shows historical pictures of the Soviet Union. That's my short list of albums and songs that were released during the 1980s and were very popular, and they were big hits. These came out when the Cold War was escalating, when the arms race was just going crazy, and the tensions between America and the Soviet Union was really seemed to be reaching a crescendo. And then you suddenly, in 1989, you had the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall came down. So it was an amazing time, and it's wonderful to actually experience and to know about all these anti-war songs that came out on the scene in the 1980s. So that's it for now, and thanks for joining me. I hope to see you again.